Hey everybody, Tony here, and today I'm going to be reviewing the Marvel vs. Capcom Infinite Top 8 from the Socal Regionals tournament that took place this past weekend. This is my first time analyzing a top 8 like this in video form, so I don't really have like a rigid structure to follow here. I'm just gonna talk over some footage and give you my thoughts on the tournament results and what we could possibly expect with the metagame going forward in Marvel vs. Capcom Infinite. Now, I've been playing fighting games competitively for over 10 years at this point, so I've experienced many new fighting game launches, how the early days were when it came to the game's competitive meta, and how the games were generally accepted or rejected. I think it's safe to say that the first week of Marvel Infinite has been one of the most bizarre, but also one of the most crazy and exciting first weeks of a fighting game's life that I could remember. And the top 8 of Socal Regionals illustrated that really well. This is the first national Marvel Infinite tournament with 170 entrants. Going in, I think the favorite for many people was Filipino Champ, who has been decimating people on his stream since before the game even officially launched. Other top Marvel 3 players that were present included Chris G, Ray Ray, Clockwork, Flux, and PR Rog, just to name a few, but none of them ended up making top 8. Justin Wong chose not to enter the tournament as he felt it would be unfair since he got the game before launch and had extra time to practice. Yipes was on commentary but also didn't actually enter the tournament. So in the end, the only Marvel 3 god who made the top 8 was F-Champ, and the rest consisted of both established Marvel players and some new blood who were able to make a huge first impression. Over 45,000 people tuned in to watch top 8. And it was a doozy full of hype and salt. So let's get right into it. Here's the top 8 players, characters, and Infinity Stones from Socal Regionals. So going into this tournament, I definitely had certain expectations when it came to which characters would make the top 8. It came as no surprise to me that popular characters from Marvel 3 like Dormammu, Dante, Zero, and Nova were going to be present. F-Champ was the best Dorm in Marvel 3, Cloud 805 and Richard Wen swagged out with Dante in Marvel 3, and Marn's undying loyalty to Zero back from the TVC days proved rewarding. It's clear that even though these characters have undergone some changes from Marvel 3, certain fundamentals are going to cross over. I expected these characters to look strong since so many top players were using them while streaming the game last week, but outside of that, I didn't really know what to expect. Let's narrow this top 8 down even further and count the appearances of characters and stones. Okay, very nice, I'm digging that character variety. To me, one thing really stood out in this top 8, and that is the presence of big bodies. You know what I mean? Large characters, like the big slow bastards that hit really hard. You see, in the history of Marvel, especially in the early metagame, it has always been the quick, combo-heavy characters that dominated. In Marvel 2, we saw this with Magneto, Storm, and Sentinel with his stupid-ass fly-on-fly combos. And then you had Marvel 3, where the early juggernauts included Wolverine, Wesker, Dante, and Magneto. When you choose a wide-body character with no projectile, this happens. So it was hard to imagine the larger, slower characters ever finding much success in a Marvel vs. Capcom game. But that seems to have all changed with Marvel Infinite, and the new gameplay elements that have been introduced into this game definitely help these characters out. Upon reflection, it actually makes a lot of sense that we're seeing big bodies find success. In Socal Regionals top 8, we saw Thanos, a Nemesis, and 2 Hagars in the top 8. Sactap in particular was completely dominant with his Nemesis and Hagar team in top 8, so I encourage you all to watch his matches because they were some sick stuff. The big bodies are finally good in a Marvel game. The most important reason for this is the new tag system. This allows players to throw out moves that used to be super punishable with a bit of a safety net. If you connect, great, here comes a big combo. If not, you could just tag out and you're more or less safe. The next big thing that helps these characters is the Infinity Stones, specifically the Reality Stone. Reality Stone gives these characters something they've never really had to play with before: a fireball! When fast characters with like flight, projectiles, air dashes, and teleports are like zipping all over the damn place. It's impossible to even get in with a big slow bitch like Nemesis, let alone land a hit. But with the Reality Stone, the playing field is evened out a little. Finally, the new Perfect Advancing Guard allows a player to reflect a projectile. So once again, another weakness of big body characters that has just destroyed them historically has been removed. Players like Jabril and Sactap made great use of this effectively in the top 8. Now let's look at the Infinity Stones that were used. Reality Stone was the most commonly used stone in the top 8, and to me that makes a lot of sense. Many already agree that the Reality Stone is the best Infinity Stone in the game, especially since giving certain characters a homing fireball covers a lot of their weaknesses. However, one thing I did notice is a lot of players didn't really have too many setups or unique combos ready for when they activated their Infinity Storms. Of course, just activating the storm gives the player an advantage and control of the neutral, but players weren't really using them to their full potential, I think, and opponents were getting out of them relatively unscathed. I expect in the coming weeks, as players get more and more comfortable with the game, we're going to start seeing some ridiculous combos and setups that only work while the Infinity Storm is active. Overall, I'm really impressed with not only the character diversity here in the top 8, but also the playstyle diversity. The amount of freedom players have to experiment with random shit was totally on display with this top 8. For this reason, I think we're all going to see more and more diverse top 8s in the future. The characters that were barely played at all, like Hulk and Thor for example, I think it's still way too early to say whether these two are bad or good. So I look forward to seeing more characters in action as the metagame continues to develop. As we'd expect from a game that's less than a week old, there were a lot of combos being dropped throughout the weekend and even in the top 8. But even with the lack of optimized combos at this point in the game's life, personally, I was surprised at some of the advanced play I was seeing in this top 8. Not only were high difficulty optimized combos being executed, but also crazy mix-ups, fake-outs, and, well, take this for example. In the first weekend, I was expecting a lot of combo breaking, and that it was going to trip up the offensive player and transfer control of the game to the player doing that breaking. Instead, it already feels like combo breaking doesn't even mean that much. During the top 8, we frequently saw players predict a combo break and either get away from the incoming character, or even worse, land a super or a happy birthday combo. So the offensive player keeping on the pressure, even with a combo being broken, is definitely something I didn't see coming, at least not this early. Also, the speed of the game is insane for the first week. I'm reminded of that scene from DBZ where Gohan can't follow the fight because it's just moving so fast. That's kind of how I felt, and I've watched hundreds of Marvel 3 tournaments. There's just so much shit going on, so quickly. The game's camera can't even keep track of all this stuff, so I'm sure some spectators were just completely flabbergasted by what they were watching. But honestly, that's how I like it. Marvel, baby. It's gotta be fast, hectic, chaotic, and insane. Finally, we have to talk about the big story of the top 8, which was the loser's run of Filipino Champ. Like I said earlier, Champ was the favorite to take the tournament, but he was looking a bit shaky on Saturday, dropping a set to Takwa and qualifying for top 8 in losers. However, once top 8 began, which was best of 5 instead of best of 3, Champ came alive and started to dominate. He ultimately came all the way back and won the tournament, including a decisive 6-1 victory over Sactap in Grand Finals. Champ's team synergy between Ultron and Dormammu is next level right now. The mileage he gets off one hit with Ultron is actually ridiculous. Let's look closely at his bread and butter combo and see just how broken this shit is. Right now, Champ will tag in Dormammu, and while this long-ass animation takes place here where Ultron does his grab, Dorm is at the bottom of the screen just getting all his full spells. Broken. Now Dorm continues the combo and throws down the Rose Garden. As of right now, this Rose Garden spell from Dormammu is probably the best move in the entire game. It's just way too good. Dorm getting free spells like this off the grab is so cheap. But I don't want to downplay Champ here. In the end, he showed why he's an Evolution champion. dude is ridiculously good at the game already. He's looking so optimized already with his Ultron and Dormammu, dog. So optimized. The Rose Garden combos and setups are just crazy and seem so strong. I honestly don't know how people are going to get out of this. The extended combos he was pulling off in week 1 are reminiscent of like year 5 Marvel 3 play. That's how crazy it looked. He is definitely the man to beat in Marvel Infinite. So congrats to Filipino Champ for winning the tournament, and to SacTap for 2nd place and winning the Space Stone with his crazy ass Nemesis Hagar team. So that's about all I have for today when it comes to Anal Sis. If you like this video and want to see more, please hit that like button and subscribe to the channel, because I have a lot more Marvel Infinite content planned. To close out the video, here's a bunch of hype moments, dutty mix-ups, and crazy combos from Top 8. Because, let's be honest, that's the reason why we watch Marvel. If we wanted spacing and footsies and stunning control of neutral, we'd watch Street Fighter. So let's finish strong with some of the craziest clips from the Top 8 of Socal Regionals 2017.
Out of the Rose Garden, very nice.
Gets hit by the active switch and still getting comboed. Volcano, he's doing it all. What a pickup. Oh man, Zero falls out as soon as I get there.
Almost. Is he going to counter switch? I think he's going to have to make a decision here. Is he going to keep Zero alive to try to bring in that help on Dante? Oh, this is just... Oh, no.
Oh, sets up that stalking flow. What's going to be the mix-up?
Layers. Look into Dark Hole. It's not over. Into the mix-up. What is
happening?
I like that. Using the auto guard just to assess the situation on the defense. Did you hit that?
Yo.
Oh, not like this.
Yo, we taking a trip down memory lane?
This man is not scared.
Home for the holidays. That's on Sunday to get these deals. I shopped on Sunday to get these deals.
Look at Martin's like, yeah, I figured. I figured I'd get washed like this.
And this is why I switched to Dante.
He's like, come on, man.
Go to character.
Yes.
Stocking flare finish active switch, and Champ is making this look a little too free.
This is sport. He's making sport of Martin right now. He's like, yo, I don't know what to do. I think I'm about to rise off my seat.
I can't believe he's still alive. He's not going to live through it. There we go.
And Filipino Champ advances, and Martin rises up his seat.
Get up off your seat, sir.
Get up off your seat. Okay, very nice. Come on now. Those teams don't even like Ice-T. You don't even like Ice-T. Oh, man.
Oh, the delayed disrespect and the fine here right now. Richard the win.
Damn.
Letting it all rock.
Yo, this is the Richard Wynn show. Jesus. Oh!
Yo, look at him up the aerial maneuver into Inferno and combo.
No, come on, Larry. Oh, that is a bonus.
Level 3 dash up. Get in here. The mayor of Earth, and you don't belong here.
Oh, you heard the winner. It was like...
All of that. Oh, wakes up and gets both of them. He can definitely get back a lot of ground right now. Oh my God.
Knock on the door, he said. There it is, random super, and it's catching tackle every single time. Welcome to the party, Ghost Rider, up from the top of the bed. Oh my goodness.
Eat this navel.
Damn.
Oh my God. From East G, and then he start walking right behind him like I told you, that's what I was here for. Behind every wall.
To the okay, now we're gonna back play that late game, good stuff. Oh wow, nice reflected that right back to Tekka's side and immediately goes to the attack. It's my turn, basically, is what Filipino Champ is saying. He's going to set up this Rose Garden immediately. There it is.
Pulls him back in, half-life already gone for Dante. Goes for a nice reset and jumps to the end. Goes for the switch, and at the ready, Dante falls right back down into it and gets a happy birthday.
That was a good attempt. That was a good attempt for Richard Wynn, trying to hit him with that rainstorm into the tag, but that Rose Garden was still active. Now look at all of this health. Oh my goodness, what happened to your health point?
Now this is a combo.
Oh, this is...
Yo, he is legitimately killing him on one combo, bro.
That's
dash early does not open him up. It goes right for that Inferno. Switches back to Dante, trying to keep the pressure. Open him up with that crouching light kick. Going to get a combo confirmed. And this is looking a lot better for Richard to win.
He's going to have to take this. Champ has no bar available for that counter switch. So it looks like it's about to be a bye-bye. Exit stage left. Looking for the Dormammu. Can he get it, though?
And he spends it all to get that win. Look at this, man. Yo, Richard to win with a ridiculous comeback with the control of the Soul Stone, the James Brown Stone, ending with the level 3.
Wow, everybody's so excited there.
Turn the key and I like it. That would be longer. Nice defense from Richard to win. Almost finds a hit, but he's not going to be able to switch. Yo, that Soul Stone on nice advancing guard finally, but he's facing the other way.
And this is going to be a little rough. Richard
Oh
Wynn is
my
almost
God.
home. There it is, and he lands the hit. Oh, goes for the shot with the combo. Wow. Easy access to big damage. And Filipino Champ advances to the grand finals.
So that means, if I'm not mistaken, correct me if I'm wrong, Eye in the Sky, that means that no matter what, Mr. Sacktap does get our first Space Stone, correct?
That is the case here, Steve. Just the fact that Tekwa could not finish the job and finish what he started did send
Mix up City, no, just takes the raw damage, full combo, and look how much life he's lost. And look at that, standing down to stop it, catches the fallen character, as well as the counter switch victor, and another perfect looking like it's on the verge of Jesus Christ.
and he gets the happy boo boo, immediately activates that Infinity Stone just to slow out Filipino Champ. But Filipino Champ is just being so optimal here, just using
Oh my
all of
God.
those resources to finish the job. And the number
Jesus.
count is still going. He's dropping, give me 256,
I know, right?
260. Oh my goodness.
Why is he, look at Ultron like, yo, that was
Did
sick.
that just say unfathomable?
Yeah, the unfathomable.
What are you doing? No, beam for beam action. No, but the flame is stronger than ever. Oh,
That
man.
is a perfect KO from F-Champ, right? Sack it back there, getting tossed in the raw launcher to take it. And F-Champ is your battle for the stones, SoCal Regionals first champion.